Hello and welcome to those endless mysteries. Live that is. And welcome. So tonight I thought to kick off the first episode of our live show, I would bring in a classic. We decided on Bigfoot, so I decided we'd bring up the folk monster. I mean, the creature from the Boggy Lagoon or whatever it was back then. Uh, and I know I just got that wrong. I sat there. But anyway, I have a few stories to tell and of later sightings from the 2000 on. I got a couple 2000 sightings and I got one from 2012 that we can look over and go over and talk about. So I hope y'all are here and more people come, and I hope y'all enjoy this one. So let's get on into it. Now, this first sighting report I do have comes from the BFRO. Now, in this statement is from the winter of 2000, January the 15th. It's from Miller County, Arkansas. I observed a hairy man-like creature approximately 8 foot tall away from me. It had sticks and leaves matted in its thick reddish brown hair, and the wind was blowing my way, and I smelled a very distinct musky smell. I was very frightened when it stopped and looked in my direction. I did have a gun, but would never shoot anything unless it is a game animal. I now carry a video camera, but have not had an opportunity to observe it again. I observed the creature one other time in 1985, and it is still hard for me to believe what I saw. Now, this is just the quick little sighting that I see here. Uh, like again, that one did come from the Miller County from the winter of January 15th of 2020. Well, I'm just too nervous here doing this. Let me just calm down here for a minute and start over. Uh, hey, everyone. I'm trying to get calm. I was just a little nervous. I don't know if it's stage fright or is it just been doing something different. I'm not for sure, but I am here and I will try to get straightened out. I don't know why I'm getting so tore up over here just sitting talking. But like I said last night, I was live and first time, and I never done anything like this before. So it's a little different for me, and I guess I might be stressing a little bit over it. So I just need to let all that go, I think, and just kind of take my time and relax. I was just really pumped up for the show, and I think I'd over pumped. So, but anyway, if you have any questions about the first sighting there wasn't much detail in this one. He did say that it was over 8 foot tall and that the leaves and sticks it had leaves and sticks matted within its reddish hair. But this does come from the folk area where the folk monster is said to roam. And I'm going to just breathe here and take my time. I do apologize again. I think I got myself too pumped up, ready to go when we went live. I was just too wired. So let me calm down and slow down here a little bit for everyone. And let's just have a good time talking and discussing these animals. Because I'm in no hurry tonight. That's for sure. I'm just going to kick back here and take it easy. Now, if y'all got any questions about that one sighting, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer anything that I can. And I can also go into another one from I got one here from 1996 from the fall of November. Now, the witness states that at the time he saw this, he was driving an 18-wheeler on Highway 71 south of Folk near the crossing of the Sulphur River going north at around 1 a.m. with his headlights of his rig picking up what he thought was a dead tree about 6 foot or so tall off of the right side of the road. It was almost standing in the water. It was close to, next to the water, he says. He says that he saw eye shinings in the headlights and thought it must be an owl or something in the tree. But as he got closer to the tree, it walked off. It turned and walked off into the swamp. He says that he never saw anything so weird as he saw that time. It went by the place he had been. Something screamed loud enough I could hear it over the sound of the truck, he says, with the windows closed, and I swear wasn't going back to see whatever it was. Uh, okay, that one was a little weird to me. Just kind of bungled up there. No periods in the report. But in the follow up investigation, the investigator stated that the witness is a truck driver and he had just made a delivery in Shreveport, Louisiana, around 1 a.m. Now, while heading north on Highway 71, he approached the Sapphire River Bridge and saw two bright red eyes in what appeared to be a dead tree off of the right side of the road, on the edge of the water about 200 yards away from him. The eyes continued to shine until he got within 100 yards. Then the dead tree turned away from the road and walked into the brush on two legs. As the witness approached the side of the creature, he let off his throttle to slow down. His engine's brakes made a deep rumbling sound. He immediately heard the deafening scream and left the scene. The creature had a dull gray color like that of a dead tree. It took huge steps and covered the ground quickly without any noticeable arm movement. The witness had never heard of a Bigfoot type creature outside of the Pacific Northwest. Well, they're all over, so. And hello to everyone that's joined us so far. So if you have any questions about that sighting, feel free to ask. I'd love to answer any questions you have. That's mainly what I want this show for, to just answer your questions if you have any. And to share the reports out there with people. I know I started off a little crazy, a little wild out there. I think I had myself pumped up way too much for the show. And I actually, when it was time to click go live, I actually got really nervous, and I don't know why. It's just me sitting here trying. I guess that's all I need to do. See, we do have a question here. Does Bigfoot only live in the woods? From what I can understand, I would have to say yes to that one. So, yeah, I mean, in a deep forest away from man, as far as I can tell, is where you're going to find the Bigfoot type creatures. They're going to be off away from humanity. They're going to be off doing their own Bigfoot stuff, whatever it's doing. So whatever Bigfoots do, I guess they're out there doing it in the deep woods. And they're all over the United States. There's reports in Louisiana, from Louisiana all the way up into Canada to Alaska, all the Pacific Northwest. I mean, they've even been seen in the heartlands, in Ohio, Indiana, Nebraska, places where you wouldn't really think they would be at. But sometimes I think they're passing through and people just happen to get a glimpse of them. And I hope that answered your question. How does he say so big and strong? Oh, well, I would say that would be if any creature. I guess if I had to be out in the wild all the time, living in the wild and moving and having to hunt my own food, I'd probably be big and strong also. I mean, I'm a 54-year-old weak man now, But no, I think if I had to live wild like they do, I think anybody would become bigger, stronger, faster, because it means your survival. So I think that's how they do survive. Uh, People says they're strong and big. Um, the bigness may be hereditary thing. They could be a descendant of Gigantopithecus, is what I believe. Um, and also, just they have to be smart and realize they have to chase their food down and catch their own food. So, do they build like traps, or do they just run them down on foot? That is the question. They're said to eat deer, and I would say they're also probably scavengers, taking other animals' kills from them, maybe. Um, so, yeah, I hope that answered your question. Um, Also, if you have the time, think about or what is the tallest one seen? That's another good question. Now, I've heard reports uh, around the Appalachian Mountains here, probably around about 9, maybe 9.5 foot tall. And in Alaska, the hairy man that's said to live in Alaska has been said to be almost 12 foot tall. So that's a big creature, and even taller in some reports. Now that's some huge creatures. But you don't hear too many. The locals in Alaska don't really talk to too many people about what they see. I do talk to a guy up there that gives me some reports every now and then, and he's a local, so he gets some reports in that area. But far as that people going out reaching out and to give you the reports, most people in Alaska don't do that. And people in Alaska are kind of off out in these wooded areas, and they got no communication really with the outside world. Some of them, especially the old timers that's way back. So I would say that most of the sightings that comes out of Alaska, if you do hear about them, are far and few in between. Even though that's said that they have probably more Bigfoot sightings per capita in the world right there through Alaska. So, okay. Anything else anybody needs to know or would like to ask? Okay. I guess I could go into another report from the how old do they live until? That I can't answer because I don't know. But there are reports that they do grow old, just like people that they actually their hair will turn gray or silverish. Um, so I would say they age and grow. They grow and age, but for how long? Are there shorter lives living out in the wild, or are they longer lives? I can't answer that. Um, but they do seem to grow older as they turn silver in their old age. So, far as I know, they do age like people. I guess I'm not for sure on that, but I would say they do age. And but how long they live for, I couldn't tell you, Mister Ferguson. And thanks for the questions. And so I guess I could go here and read another report for now. Unless y'all got some more questions on anything else y'all'd like to know about. I love the questions. I love to talk. So if we can get talking back and forth, your sighting report. Why is there only one seen at a time? Well, often they are just one seen at a time, but there have been many, many family group reported also, where they're in like a family group. Um, it's even been said some researchers think they may live in small groups, maybe family groups, or little small communities even. But far as most sightings is of one. So you know if there are they the males out doing the hunting, maybe um, hunting, taking care, supporting her, getting their food for their family, uh, or do they all travel at one time and just happily we only see one because they do camouflage very well into the thickness of the trees. So could whoever's glimpsing them only be seeing one, and there may actually be 4 or 5 around them at a time? I can't say that either. But they are said to run in family groups as well. They're fewer and further seen apart for sure. Um, but mostly they are they subterranean? Well, that's a good question too. Um, well, I would say some of them probably does live in caves, travel and everything completely subterranean. I'm not sure about that. I don't think so, but I do think that they have. Wait a while, I don't know if y'all can still see me or not. I just lost feed. Okay, do you think there is a cover up? Well, I'm not for sure. I mean, a lot of people says the government knows about these creatures, and for some reason they're just not letting the reasons out why they could be covering it up. I don't know why the government would cover it up, but some people has said that the government does knows these animals out here. I mean, there's been military personnel that actually came forth and said that they've been told in some of these training situations that these creatures are real and that they are out there. But, I personally never had that briefing, so I can't say for sure with 100% certainty, but I have heard the stories. Is there an undercover video with Texas officials talking about Sasquatch? There is an undercover video with Texas. I haven't seen that video. I would love to see that video if you know where that link is. If you could send me the link on that one, I would love to see that video. But yeah, I think there could possibly be a cover up. But like I said, I don't know what the reasons would be for it. I mean, it's from the Beast of Branchy Creek documentary. Okay, thank you very much. And I will have to look into that one. I haven't seen that bit of information there, and I appreciate that. And like I said, though, I don't know why there would be a cover up on these creatures unless the government knows something about them that would strain the people's thoughts about how they exist or something. I mean, I cannot think of a reason why to cover up a natural animal that could be hiding out in the wilderness other than something that maybe, there's a theory out there that Bigfoots are interdimensional beings as well, that they cross in and out of our plane of existence. But for me, that's hard for me to see. I can see, uh, well, how do I want to put it here? I can see them being interdimensional or like a time shift or something where people may be getting a glimpse of the past or something. Because we know there was an animal called Gigantopithecus that very much fits the framing for Bigfoot that was definitely roaming around the world, no less than 100,000 years ago. But is that the creature that's Bigfoot now? Some kind of offspring? That is something we can only guess. So, is there any more? Now, I'm finally starting to get calmed down here. You notice I was really stressed out at the beginning, but I'm getting there. Um, Coming through, not right now. So, I'll just jump into another story here and see if anybody can come up any questions off of this one. Now, this report comes off from September the 13th of 2012. It's also from Miller County, Arkansas. It's the nearest town is Folk again. Now, in this one, I'm going to go up, stroll all the way down to the follow up investigation report by the BFRO investigator. Mainly because there's not much detail in the regular report. It was made by, I think, her husband at the time, and it was the wife that seen it, and he didn't have much details. But in the follow up, he talked to both the witness and the person that filed the report, and he talked to them on November the 30th of 2012. Now, he says that he spoke to both of the people over the phone, and the witness was driving west on Colorado Road number 10 and had crossed over 4 Mile Creek a few moments earlier, saying that it was around 4 a.m. and her small vehicle was rounding a curve to her left. She then saw in the beam of her headlights a tall, hairy covered bipedal animal that had just stepped out onto the road. Narrow She applied her brakes and slowed to a near stop about 50 feet or less from the animal. She stated that the animal quickly crossed the road in long but unhurried strides, then stepped over a barbed wire fence and disappeared into the woods south of the road. She said that at the time the driver's side window was down, but she immediately rolled the window up, locked all the doors, and sped away from the location. She stated the animal was a good 8 foot tall, with very long and muscular legs. The witness said the movement of the animal was smooth and without much movement of the arms. Its body was held erect as it walked. At all times, her view was on the profile of this animal's left side. She said it was looking straight ahead as it crossed the road and never turned to look at the vehicle. She also mentioned that for a split second, the animal's left eye reflected a distant red glow from the car's headlights. She described the animal's torso as being big and thick, and its stomach was not fat. Its hair was long, most of it being dark brown, but with portions being a lighter brown color. The hair appeared neat without any mud or forest litter clinging to it. She saw nothing to indicate the sex of the animal. Excuse me. She stated that the animal's head sat closely on its shoulders, and its head appeared to be shaped like that of a large human's. She stated her attention was primarily fixed on the animal's torso and legs, as these were the parts of its body most visible in her normal driving view of the road. She said she had to tilt her head back slightly to glance at its head. The witness stated she was very surprised and frightened by her encounter. After our conversation about this incident, I believe she is a credible observer. And that was the best part of this sighting. see, from Dark Waters, greetings. Would love to have you on one of my host shows to help you and get your thoughts. I may get back with you on that. I may come and talk to you and get back to you on that one. Um, Now, is there anyone else out there that would like any questions, has any questions about that last sighting I just read to you? Uh, 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 oh, wow. Okay. Thank you very much, Dark Waters. Thank you. I will. I'll email you when I get ready. So, yes. Okay. Any more? Not yet. Okay. Well, that's the only 3 reports I had set up for tonight. But I would love to hear any more questions anyone does have out there. Well, I'm happy. So no one's got any more questions. I can always run across another sighting here, I guess, and go out with another sighting. Is anyone wanting to move to anything else other than Bigfoot, or you just want to stay with Bigfoot? I have, let me see, we're doing Arkansas. I can stay in Miller and do another sighting right here. This one was from 2001, February. Um, See, I was driving around the back roads of Folk in the Jonesville area. It was a Saturday late evening just before dark. I was looking over all the damaged trees that were still down from the ice storm we had in the area during Christmas. As I came near Boggy Creek, it was getting somewhat dark, so I decided to turn around and head back home. I pulled into a dirt drive in front of a hunting lease to turn around, and suddenly I heard a howling sound like I never heard before. It was then dark to where I could not see through the trees anymore, so I decided to get home. Oh, excuse me. Later on, I was able to listen to some sound recordings of Bigfoot, and just as I thought, I got a rare chance to hear the real thing. So that's another about the Folk monster. I mean, there's been right there around Folk. I got about like 11 or nine sighting reports just right there around Folk ever since about the 2000s. Um, so if y'all would like to say anything else, or see May 77, let's move to other creatures. Kelly Stay got got any alien encounters? Not right on hand. I'm sorry. I do want to do a show about all this government and the Pentagon releasing all these new videos and everything of all these alien craft, or what appears to be alien craft. So I would like to do something on that. Now, as far as creatures goes, I can do some. We can talk about some Dogman if y'all want to. I would love to go over to some Dogman or some werewolf stories, or whichever way you want to put them. Let's see. So if that would be okay, it's saying I'm going through. So is the transmission still coming good across good for everyone? It says I'm having a delay here on my end, so I don't know if if it's coming across okay. So I want to get that straightened out if there is some problem going on here with everything. But let's see what we can get into here now. Okay. Okay, so everybody's saying great here. I mean, I don't know what it's just coming up and it's giving me a thing. Slight delays and stuff like that here on my screen. Then it'll go back and say everything's fine. It just keeps coming in, so I didn't know if it was messing up the transmission to you guys. So that's all I was wanting to know. So thank y'all. I was actually wanting to look at something here real quick and see. Okay, now I do have a story here from Mysterious Universe. It's called Gator Man, Raccoon Man, and Other Accounts of Truly Bizarre Humanoid Beast. Cryptozoology and the world of the weird is genuinely have been populated by all manner of weird and unexplained entities. Everything from possible undiscovered creatures to those sightings that suggest something altogether more mysterious has been reported. And there are so many such reports that it is hard to know even where to begin at times. Our first oddity here comes from the area of Redlands, Florida, where there seems to be a creature roaming about in the wilds that is half human and half alligator, locally called the Gator Man. It is typically described as being 6 to 7 foot tall, somewhat humanoid in form, but with an alligator like head, ridges along its back, and a long, thick tail. One sighting was made by Chris Kinney and his girlfriend, Jane Fairbanks, who had come to a secluded area along the creek in order to make out, but would have the mood ruined quickly, quite rudely, by something appearing from the night. At around 2 a.m., they claimed that they heard rustling in the trees, and Kenny would explain of what happened next. I got out my flashlight and saw a pair of eyes reflecting back. I thought it was a gator, no big deal. Then we got closer, and the damn thing was standing on 2 legs. There is a monster there. I saw it with my own eyes, he says. The two then left the area and fast as they could and have no explanation for what they saw. Another case was reported by Bethany Cortez, who was driving home from work in the evening along a back road that loops around the swamp. As she made her way along the bumpy road, a large figure dashed out into her headlights, which seemed to have spiny ridges along its back. The creature then apparently looked right at her with an elongated reptilian head and flashed its teeth before disappearing into the night. Is that Wittelusa Swamp? That's a weird word. I've never seen that. Wittelusa Swamp seems to be a hotbed for sightings of the Gator Man. And one woman who lives right at the edge claims to have seen the creature on many occasions. A Wendy Bannon and her family have been living at the swamp's edge for years. and claim that they have actually fed the Gator Man with chickens, beef ribs, grilled vegetables, and a loaf of fresh baked bread. She says when he's fed, he's happy and he leaves us alone. It's when people disrespects him and go into his home that people gets hurt. So that was a weird little story there. So does anybody have any questions about a Gator Man? That's the first time I read about the Gator Man also. I've never worked on a Gator Man story. So that was interesting for me as well. Um, so no questions. Okay, well let's well, if nobody has any more questions, I'll probably just call that a night then, because we went over 3 stories, well, actually 4 with the Gator Man, which was kind of cool. Okay, what's it? Can we hear from the first story again? Yes, you may. See, the first story was from 2000, January the 15th, from Arkansas, from Miller County. Creature, approximately 8 foot tall, walking away from me. It had sticks and leaves matted in its thick reddish brown hair. The wind was blowing in my way, and I smelt a very distinct musky smell. I was very frightened when it stopped and looked in my direction. I did have a gun, but would never shoot anything unless it was game. I now carry a video camera with me, but have not had the opportunity to observe it again. I observed the creature one other time in 1985, and it is still hard for me to believe in what I saw. And that was just a short sighting right there. That's all he gave on that one. So if you have any questions about that one, Parents of Zachary, I'd be happy to answer them. Like I said, these was kind of short stories. I probably should have put longer stories together. And I came on so erratic too. I was so pumped up. And then I probably came off kind of like a babbling idiot. But that's okay. It's all new to me. I will get it, under control, hopefully. And more I do it, the better I'll get. So I'm still coming across good. I wonder why it's still coming up every now and then, giving me communication problems. So I'm glad it's coming across then okay for everyone. So is it happy to answer them for you? Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight with me. And it's going to be a quick show, but that's fine. But yeah, so every now and then I will freeze for a minute. Well, it's just every now and then is when it's coming up saying communication problems or flashing something up here in the yellow. Just so I appreciate that, Kelly. Thanks for answering that for me. So I don't know if it's on my end. It may be on my end. I don't think so, but I'll have to check into that. And thank you. And so since there's no more questions, I'd like to tell everybody have a great day and have a great night. And thanks for joining us live here on YouTube on those endless mysteries. And I'll get back with another video soon. So thank you. Another live event soon. Thank you.